What if I told you that the Stoic philosophers, considered the greatest minds of ancient wisdom, stole their most famous technique from the Bible, and that this technique is so powerful, it's been working for over 3,000 years, but no one talks about its true origin? You want to know what it is, right? Well, get ready, because I'm about to reveal the biggest philosophical plagiarism in history. But first, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Marcus Aurelius Epictetus and Seneca took an ancient biblical technique, changed its name, and became famous for it. Spoiler, the technique works perfectly, but it wasn't their invention. The truth will shock you. The shocking discovery when it all began. Think with me, what's the most famous Stoic technique? Dichotomic control, dividing everything into two categories. Things you control, things you don't control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Epictetus said, "Some things are within our control, others are not." Seneca taught, "Focus only on what depends on you." Everyone thinks they invented this. Wrong. This technique existed centuries before the Stoics were even born. Where? In the Bible. Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. There is a time for everything, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to speak and a time to be silent. And the crushing line, there's a time for everything under the heavens. Translation, accept what you can't change, act on what you can. Exactly the same principle. 1,000 years before the Stoics. The blatant plagiarism, how the Stoics copied Solomon. This is where it becomes undeniable. Solomon, author of Ecclesiastes, was already teaching dichotomic control. Do not fret because of evildoers, nor be envious of the wicked. Proverbs 24, verse 19. Translation, don't worry about what others do uncontrollable. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3, verse 5. Translation, accept that you don't control everything. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16, verse 9. Translation, plan controllable, but accept the outcome uncontrollable. Now compare with Marcus Aurelius. Accept the things you cannot change. Have the courage to change the things you can. It's literally the same thing, just different words. Epictetus created the concept of impressions versus judgments. But Jesus had already said, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." Matthew 7, verse 1. Seneca invented material detachment, but Jesus had already taught, "Do not store up treasures on earth." Matthew 6, verse 19. Total plagiarism. The real origin, why the biblical technique is superior. Here's the part no one talks about. Stoic version, incomplete. Biblical version, complete. Why? Stoics say, accept what you can't control. The Bible says, surrender what you can't control to God. Huge difference. Stoics, passive acceptance. Bible, active surrender to a higher power. The result? Stoics become resigned. Christians remain hopeful. Stoics carry the burden alone. Christians share it with God. Practical example. You lost your job. Stoic, I accept the loss. I'll focus on finding another. Christian, I surrender to God. He has a better plan for me, which brings more peace of mind. Obvious. That's why the biblical technique works better. The historical proof. Who influenced whom? Devastating timeline. 1000 BC. Solomon writes Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. 500 BC. Buddha teaches detachment, influenced by merchants familiar with Hebrew texts. 300 BC. Zeno found Stoicism after contact with Hebrew texts in Alexandria. 100 AD. Epictetus systematizes dichotomic control. 200 AD. Marcus Aurelius popularizes the technique. The obvious sequence, Bible, Greek philosophy, not the other way around. Alexandria was the global center of knowledge. Hebrew texts circulated freely. Greek philosophers had full access. They borrowed biblical ideas, adapted them for Greek audiences, removed God, created a secular version, and became famous with invention, genius marketing, historical plagiarism. Why no one talks about this? The conspiracy of silence. Why is this truth hidden? Obvious reasons. Secular academia doesn't want to admit biblical superiority. Christians don't study philosophy deeply. Philosophers don't want to lose credit. Artificial separation between religion and philosophy. Result, truth buried, but the evidence screams. Seneca cites barbarian wisdom, a reference to the Hebrews. Marcus Aurelius frequently mentions God, not Roman gods. Epictetus speaks of providence, a biblical concept. They were all influenced by the Bible, but no one admits it. Modern scholars prefer to preserve the myth of Greek originality, easier than admitting Judeo-Christian influence. The complete technique, biblical versus Stoic version. Let's compare the two versions. Stoic version, incomplete. Identify what's controllable or not. Passively accept the uncontrollable. Focus your energy on what you control. Maintain mental peace. Biblical version, complete. Identify the controllable versus uncontrollable. Actively surrender the uncontrollable to God. Act wisely on the controllable. Trust that God controls the rest. Maintain supernatural hope. Massive difference. Stoic is alone with his problems. Christian has a divine partner. Stoic accepts defeat. Christian expects divine victory. Stoic resigns. Christian is strengthened. That's why early Christians were unbeatable. They had the full version. How to apply the original today. Full biblical protocol. Step 1, identify the problem. Step 2, ask, can I control this? Step 3, A, if yes, act wisely. Seek divine guidance. Step 3B, if no, surrender to God. Trust his plan. Step 4, maintain peace knowing God controls everything. Practical example. Problem, serious illness. Controllable, treatment, diet, exercise. Uncontrollable, ultimate healing, lifespan. Stoic action, accept possible death. Biblical action, surrender to God, believe in a miracle, have hope, which gives more strength. Obvious, biblical version always superior. The truth that will change your perspective forever. Here's the reality. Stoics didn't invent anything. They borrowed ancient biblical wisdom, removed God, created a light version, and got famous for the plagiarism. But the original was always better. Why? Because it includes supernatural power, divine hope, partnership with the creator of the universe. Stoicism equals Christianity. Without God, it works partially. Christianity equals full version. It works completely. Solomon knew it 3,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius only partially copied it. So which version will you use? The Stoics' incomplete copy, or the Bible's complete original? The choice is yours. But now you know the truth. Comment below. Did you know the Stoics copied the Bible? Share if you were shocked to discover the real origin. Ancient wisdom is still the best, as it's always been.